What's going on, guys? It's Colin here for NextGenTactics, and this is my first look at the Close Quarters expansion DLC for Battlefield 3 that I've posted here to this channel. So I'm playing Conquest Domination. We're on scrap metal. I'm using the F2000, and those would be the particulars for this game. Also running the 93R, 93 Raffica, as my sidearm, and I'll talk about that a little bit here further down the road. But first, I just want to give some impressions on Close Quarters. I'm having a good time with it. I know that there's a lot of folks that are not happy that Battlefield is now catering more to the COD-type gameplay, but in reality, a lot of players who play Battlefield 3, and I mean, the game sold, what, 12 million copies, something like that, they enjoy the frenetic infantry action. And so maps like Operation Metro and Grand Bazaar, that sort of thing, we're getting an awful lot of playtime in the server rotations, so DICE was bringing us more of that sort of action, and I think that they've done a really good job. They've put a lot of effort into the weapon balances and patches and that sort of thing, and I think it's been a great success. Now that suppression's been tweaked and some more of the guns have been balanced again, the gunplay in this game is absolutely incredible. So, you know, if you want to go play an fast-paced infantry shooter, why wouldn't you want to play it with Battlefield 3's mechanics? And that's just my opinion. Flame away if you want that, you know, go play COD. But I don't like COD. I like this game. So that's why I play it. It's why I post so much of it. Anyway, so the maps are very interesting in that, especially in Conquest Domination. So let's talk about this game type first. It has 3 flags per map, and what often happens as people kind of learn some tactics, and you know what, people are eventually going to know the tactics and they're not going to implement the tactics. We all kind of know how it goes with team play in public lobbies. But what happens now is it's basically a big game of ring around the rosy, where teams run from flag to flag to flag to flag to cap them, and the other team's like running behind them flag to flag to flag, recapping them. And you know what? You get a ton of points that way. Because the flags are, you get so many points for capping flags, it's ridiculous how many objective points you can rack up playing this game type. So that's kind of how people are playing it. You know, they're going for kills. It's not like people are boosting and just running around capping flags, but they're not really implementing any strategy to it. And what I've found here, having played this map a few more times since this is my first round on this map, by the way, that I'm posting today. You know, I've found a few ways to be a bit more effective at not getting spawned behind, that sort of thing. Because the spawns on, okay, so I am gonna talk a little bit about Call of Duty here. For people who don't play Call of Duty, I'm sorry, and I haven't played much for years now. So if things have changed, then by all means correct me. But I think the last time that I played Domination was early on in Black Ops, but I played most of Domination in COD 4. Anyway, so when you hold, what often happens there is you have a center flag, you have 2 near flags for the teams. There are maps where it's laid out like a triangle. A lot of these maps, it's not really laid out like that in a linear fashion anyway. But the way the spawn system works is there's no set deployment, and you don't spawn, apparently, based on the flags that you possess. So even though you may cap a team completely out in the game, their spawns are still random around the map. So there's no way to basically cap them out and spawn trap them. The strategy of holding 2 flags, letting them have one so that they spawn on that flag, it doesn't really apply. Now, you can kind of prevent getting shot in the back a little bit if you focus on a couple of flags, 1 or 2 flags, rather than just running flag to flag to flag to flag. And kind of the more I've played this, the more I tend to avoid the A flag up on that rooftop. I find that it's more out of the way. I find that I can be more effective and see more action if I stick to B and C. And, you know, cap the B flag, kind of hop down, look to see if anyone's taken C. Holding in B and C is kind of my personal preference, but again, the other team can spawn anywhere, so it doesn't afford you extra map control based on the flags that you possess, but it just drives the action a little bit more. Because when you play these maps, this is actually a 32-player server that you're seeing, so if you're on the console, you may be used to seeing these maps in 8v8. So it's a little bit more tactical and a little bit less frantic and chaotic, I guess would be the right words. But even in larger maps, you can do okay if you play smart, you play correctly. But even with that many players, you might not see action if you're not in the right place at the right time. So, you know, right there I get distracted by a dead body who's still standing up. That glitch is still there, kind of pisses me off, and I get shot by a not dead body. get revived into just a clusterfuck. They're spawning where we're spawning. I emptied my pistol. For whatever reason, didn't switch back to my primary when I tried, didn't knife when I tried, so anyway, wind up, that happens quite a bit. And another tip that I've figured out is that sometimes, now this guy right here, this is why you don't chase kills. He shot me, I was able to kind of duck around the building and wait for him, but there's going to be a lot of that on these maps. Don't chase the kills. I'm going to make the same mistake here a couple of times on this map and chase a few down. So one thing that I've kind of noted, and please leave me a comment with your thoughts on this, but teammates tend to get behind you, get in your way, especially if you're moving forward and they're trying to be good teammates and move with you. So you'll see it bite me a couple of times, not necessarily right here, where I get into a gunfight and I sense that I might lose the gunfight, so rather than take the death, I'm going to try and retreat back the way I came, only to run into 3 teammates and I wind up getting shot anyway. So I find that you kind of have to commit to your gunfights a little bit more in this game type, because, you know, if you try and retreat the way you came, especially if you just came through a choke point, you might be sandwiched in by your teammates. And I mean, they're just trying to move forward with you. Chances are they'll revive you if you go down. So I've noticed that a lot on PC, that people are playing, you know, I'm getting rezzed all the time, so even in random lobbies. Now right here, I accidentally put myself in their spawn, and I turned off of one because I saw another one looking at me, but then when I looked over there, there was 2 looking at me, so I tried to just take as many down with me as possible. And you're going to wind up in those situations. You'll also, I don't know if it's evident to you guys, but my screen was stuttering an awful lot as I played this game. And that's because I didn't notice so much in subsequent days, but the first day I played this, which was Tuesday, the day it released, I was getting tons of frame drops and just crazy, crazy lag spikes. It's been a little bit better since, but if you play on a player count that the maps aren't really intended for, and I think that they were supposedly designed for 8v8, I find they play better 12v12, and they start to get laggy at 32 players, 16v16. Learn to math. It's Friday afternoon. I'm getting pretty tired. But anyway, but if you go above that player count, then it's just a complete laggy mess, and it's chaos. And the spawn system logic breaks. So, you know, if you go into a server where you're exceeding the recommended player count that the map was designed for, that also means the spawn system was designed for that number of players. So you overwhelm the spawn system logic, you're going to get players spawning each other's heads. Beginning of some of the 64-player maps, you'll have 4 allies and 4 enemies spawn in a room with you in a standoff. It's funny. You know, if you get pissed by that, then, you know, you shouldn't play the larger player count games. But if you can just have a laugh and look at it and go, oh, this is going to be interesting, then, you know, give it a shot. Give 64-player a shot. For me, I just found it to be too laggy. And again, my screen is stuttering like crazy, combined with, just not being warmed up and my shot sucking. So I'm using the F2000, I'm using the laser sight, I'm hip-firing a ton, and that's a tactic that works really well. I'm favoring guns that are somewhat capable in longer ranges, but also have excellent hip-fire, like the AEK, the F2000, even the M16. But with the F2000, you know, you get that nice high fire rate, and it's something different. You know, I've used a lot of M16, and people are friggin' sick of it. You know, I don't want to be only use me M16. So F2000 works really well on these maps, and they also gave a pretty new digital blue camo that you can put on the F2000 as part of the DLC. So briefly, I'm going to talk about Premium. So before we get into that, I'm just showing some highlights here at the end. It was actually like 15-20 minutes. I don't remember exactly how long the game was, but we're going to cut it down. But I'm enjoying this DLC. It's not going to be something that I play all night, every night, but you know, play a couple of rounds of close quarters. I think that'll be fun. If I'm just looking for a quick hit, then going in and playing something like Gunmaster is great. You know, I have 2 kids, so I can't always commit to, you know, I'm going to play 1,000 tickets, 64-man Conquest Large. This is a nice alternative, and it's nice to have this variety all within a game that I enjoy playing with gunplay mechanics that I thoroughly enjoy. So, let's talk a little bit about Battlefield Premium. I think that I touched on this in my commentary probably earlier this week here on NextGenTactics. But anyway, you know, I'm okay with the idea. Ultimately, these things are being put out by a company that want to make money, and they're not forcing your hand to buy it. Are they delivering good value for the money? For me, on the PC, it delivers good value. I would purchase all of the DLCs separately, so I save some money that way. It's nice to have the little extras and add-ons, and obviously I want to be playing the new content as soon as possible. So, you know, that's included in the price, is getting 2 weeks early access to the content, and you know, so for me, it is a good deal, and I'm happy about it, and I'm okay with that. But for other people, you know, if you hate EA's guts and you think this is a terrible deal and they're just trying to screw you, then don't buy it. But, you know, it's a business model, and at the end of the day, I work for a company in my 9 to 5 that's out there to make money, and yeah, you know, sometimes you have to implement some strategies that the consumers aren't going to like, but they might sign up and pay for it anyway. So, but I personally think that Battlefield Premium is a good deal for me, but I think everyone has to make their own decision, and not to try and be non-controversial, but that is how I feel. So anyway, this has kind of been a long-winded, rambly commentary. Hope you enjoyed. If so, let me know. And if you didn't, let me know. And more Close Quarters coming soon. Cheers, guys.